We've read all of those things, and over the centuries, always seen that as that's Father's voice. That's his voice. And it is. I'm not saying it's not. But what I am saying is, if it's his, it's mine. Because I am him in the earth. And we've said it over and over and over again. When you've seen me, you've seen the Father. And we've learned subconsciously, even if we can consciously say, well, if Jesus said it, I can say it. But there are places in our subconscious or unconscious mind that our reaction response is still from separation. But we are not separate from him. You are the sound of many waters. That is who we are. We are the sound of his voice in the earth. We are that sound. And it's not because we think anything, it's not from pride, it's not from arrogance. It is truth. It is reality. And it has to be a confident settledness in ourself, like Jesus, like Yeshua showed us over and over again, that without apology, without qualification statements, without couching it comfortably for people to receive it or hear it or any of that, that we come to the place that we say, I am the sound of his voice in the earth. When you've seen me, you've seen the Father. When I speak his words. Whether I'm, aware of it or not, whether I've done all of the meditation and the quiet time, and I'm not saying all that's not necessary. I'm not negating the need for that. But if I am created in his likeness and image, it is my frame and makeup to be his voice in the earth. It is my frame and the very existence of my being to function the way he functions, the way he desires to be seen and experienced in the earth. And there is an intention in his heart for the sound of his voice to be released from a place of understanding and knowledge that I am him in the earth. I don't have to try to be him. I don't have to work my way to be him from a place of, I've done all the things, I've read all the chapters, I've taken all the classes, I've done all the whatever training to be him, because I don't need that. I am him. Like I've never had to train to be Kym Whitman. I am that person. I am him. Is there a place where our revelation of maturity and awareness of how he moves and functions, his nature and character? Of course there is. And all of us have walked that road with him in that place of leaning in, of pressing into, Father, how would you do this? How would you handle this? Watching him move and react and respond, that actually transforms our reaction and response, because we're watching him intently. What is that verse about being captured by his eyes, that we can be moved by the movement of his eye? That comes from relationship. That comes from that place where you and I live from, that knowing without any doubt, I am him in the earth. So I was actually been meditating on Ezekiel for a number of weeks. And I think I was actually looking this morning for my, I have Ezekiel in the Passion, and I took it with me on one of my trips, and I think it's in one of my other bags, so I couldn't find it. But Ezekiel 1, verses 4-8, I want to read to you. It says, and I saw, and behold, the wind. Okay, now let me stop, pause. I want to read this to you, but I want you to see it as this is you. Align your heart to understand that these words written here are about you. Okay? All right. Verse 4. And I saw and behold, the wind of a hurricane was coming from the north, a great cloud and a fire that was kindled, and it shone brightly around it, and within it was a figure from within the fire. And from within it was the likeness of four living creatures. And this was their appearance as the likeness of the sons of men. And each one had four faces, and each one had four wings, and their wings were straight, and the soles of their feet as the hooves of calves, and they shone like shining brass. And the hand of a son of man was under their wings from their four sides, and their faces and their wings were at their sides. Now, if you skip down to verse 24, and I heard the sound of their wings as a sound of many waters, and like the voice of God when they were going, and like the sound of talking within a camp. And whenever they were standing, their wings were silent. The sound of many waters, the sound of many waters. That word, that phrase, the sound of many waters, the voice of Father that you and I are, that take on the unique aspects and characteristics that when gathered together becomes a rushing, thunderous sound like a waterfall that is so glorious that it shifts everything in existence. Everything in existence. And that is you and I. That is you and I as like Susan was sharing with what Yeshua did, and how every intention that was contained within what was done within time that transforms everything in the awareness of our oneness in Father, in the awareness of our oneness that absolutely transforms anything and everything in existence. So I wanted to take just a second and look at that word sound. In Hebrew, that word sound is the word kol. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. Pardon me. But kol, the word kol, is a kuf, a vav, and a lamed. And kol is from an unused root word that means to call aloud. To call aloud. But get this, it also means lightness or frivolity, like joy. The word sound means joy or lightness, celebration. Now, how many times have we, even in our understanding and awareness, as we've read in scripture, that the sound of many waters we've attributed to Father's voice, and in historical accounting, we've always seen Father as separate from me, like literally reaching out, right? Or I've got to engage in my heart somewhere out here so I know the sound of his voice so that I can actually take it into myself and then release it, if I can paint it as a picture. But we know that's not true. We know that's not right, because I am one in him. There is no separation. So that sound, the voice, the very joy, the very call is in me. It's in the very fabric of my being. It is the fabric of my being. It's not even something that's in me that I'm trying to release. It is the very essence of my entirety that I am releasing continually. The other meanings of sound or kol is crackling and thunder. Now, y'all know I love storms of all kinds. I love rainstorms. I love lightning and thunder. When it starts happening, almost without exception, I am immediately outside because I've got to see it and experience it. I promise. I just love it. And that is the word sound, coal, crackling and thunder, joy. Can you imagine when you put that picture together, the difference of just hearing a frequency and being thunder, being crackling, being the absolute lightness of joy, being the calling aloud. Your physical body is the manifestation of that word call. You are the manifestation of the call aloud because you're visual. We can see you. You can see you. You are literally the manifestation of the sound of Father's voice in body form, in that place where elements are collected and gathered together with great joy, with great frivolity, with great thunder and crackling to actually form you. And because there is a sound coming out of every piece of your being that is expressing the absolute intention and core of Father's desire. How incredible is that? You know, I looked up the letters Kuf and Vav and Lamed, and as I researched the word Kuf or the letter Kuf, our friend Kuf, I did get a little sidetracked, and I'm not. It absolutely goes with everything I'm saying. But I read, you know, that book that I really like, the Book of Wisdom, the Wisdom in the Hebrew Alphabet. I refer to that quite often. That word kuf, that letter, our friend kuf, has everything to do with holiness. And it got me to thinking about what Yeshua said about when you've seen me, you've seen the Father. When you've seen me, you've seen my Father. And for years now, we've all been talking about our I amness, my favorite phrase, right? Our I amness in the image and likeness of our Father. For years, we've been discussing and leaning into what oneness actually means, how we see ourselves, how we engage with the motives of our heart, the intentions of our being, how we see and engage the world around us. Because for centuries, if not millennia, we've been taught to see Father as separate from us, right? But looking at this word sound shifted so much for me when I saw those different meanings of it. Because not only am I him in the earth, I am him in all of existence. Let that sink in. I am him in all of existence. In the book that I'm referring to, The Wisdom in the Hebrew Letters, there's an excerpt that I want to quote here about the letter, our friend Kuf. And it reads like this: He, they're speaking of Father, is unlimited. Now I want you to hear me. Lean into this because this is you. He is unlimited. He is neither obligated nor related to anything existing. He has no resemblance to anything or anyone. He is boundless and formless. Since he is unbound, his spirit and presence, pardon me, his spirit and presence penetrates the entire universe. Penetrates the entire universe. That describes you. I am, you are the very intention of the sound Father desires to release in the earth. And not from a, okay, I've prepared myself, now we're going to go do this, although it includes that. And not from a, I've got a specific prophetic word for this person at, whatever time, although it includes that. It's always because your very being, your very physical body, very physical elements that came together to frame you, to build and create, make you, is the very sound that needs to be released in the earth. I am unlimited. You are unlimited. I am the face of my Father, and nothing outside of him has anything in common with me. My spirit and presence penetrate the entire universe, the entirety of everything that has ever existed. I am, you are holy because he's holy. We are part of all creation and the voice of our Father speaking into all of creation, reminding creation of union and oneness. So if we can take those letters, I'm not going to go through the Vav and the Lamed. Y'all can do that if you'd like to later. But if we engage sound through those three letters, Kuf, Vav, and Lamed, would be a phrase, something along the lines of the voice of Father from the ancient places, completing and transforming everything in existence, bringing understanding and knowledge to his purposes.